I've said previously that I may have been oblivious to opportunities to date. I've recognized over the years that I train myself to avoid eye contact in order to discourage conversation in situations that would cause me anxiety. Eye contact is somewhat necessary to encourage potential dating conversations, so I've quite possibly sabotaged myself more than once. My first boyfriend didn't come along until college. I met him when I went home one weekend, so I became the girl who went home to spend time with her boyfriend every weekend. He was the first guy to kiss me, and after a few months, he was my first sexual partner. We were both virgins at that point, so neither of us had any idea what we were doing. I'm fairly certain he learned everything he knew about sex from porn and locker rooms. My own knowledge base and experience was extremely limited. There was plenty of sex, as in any time I said yes. I'm still grateful I never got pregnant. We both still lived at home, so he would convince me to have sex in random places, on the back of a four-wheeler out in the woods on his land, on the trunk of a car at the end of the road, or giving him a handjob while he was driving. He loved 69, but I only did it because he wanted to do it. I didn't enjoy doing it, and he wasn't good at it. He convinced me to try anal when I wasn't really into it because he was so horny he couldn't wait the few days for my period to end. I was relieved his penis was tiny. It's no wonder I never had an orgasm and never really looked forward to it. It took 2 years for me to realize he was more into having a girlfriend than he was into my being his girlfriend. I recognized that around the same time I recognized I did not want that guy to be the father of my children. If I'd known what I know now about what was actually possible, how good sex can be, and how much fun I should have, I would have ended things much sooner. It would be 2 years before I would go on another date, but the next guy would be very sweet and open my eyes a bit. He was several years older than I was. While my first boyfriend just wanted to say he had a girlfriend, this guy actually liked me for me. That was nice. It was also nice that his dick was long enough to hit the back of my cervix. I barely noticed when my first boyfriend entered my vagina. I was suddenly learning that positions could make a difference, and it was possible to enjoy sex. I still didn't have an orgasm, but I did look forward to sex for a change. They say sex generally peaks in relationships in the first 2 years. While this would have been fun for a couple of years, it would have eventually become boring, but I never got the chance to confirm that. My previous relationship had set a bad example for me. My one and only other boyfriend wanted to spend every free moment with me. In my limited experience observing my high school and college friends, that's what couples did. I was just out of college, and I was still getting my life together. This guy was older and had a life of his own. He didn't need me around every single second. I didn't mean to be clingy, but that is what I became. When he told me he needed space, I was horrified. But I gave it to him. Lesson learned. It was a couple of years after that when I went out of town with a friend for my birthday. We stayed with friends of hers, and I hit it off with one of them. Because we lived several hours away, it was almost a month before we saw each other again. He came to stay with me, and that was my introduction to great oral. The sex was fine, but it wasn't anything special. The oral was great. It was the first time I actually came during sex instead of by myself. While I am absolutely not downplaying an orgasm, that experience would probably have fallen into the sex would peak in 2 years category. However, not long after his visit, he ended things. I was unaware my friend had described me before we met, and she basically called me a prude. He considered me a challenge, and I was now a conquest. I'd never been a conquest. At least I got an orgasm out of it. Fast forward to today, and it's my turn to do the conquering. Please watch my 2 previous videos in this series if you haven't already. And don't forget to like and subscribe if you like the content.